go to these mining communities, everybody in any of these communities eats or take their livelihood from the mining activities that is going on. So when we say we want to curb unemployment in Ghana, the number one solution is mining. How can somebody who studied geology be working in a bank? And we close mining in Ghana for a month. What will happen in this country? Nobody can contain it. I have told people, nobody has a license to do alluvial mining. I want us to have a certain discussion. When you go to school, there's a particular subject you study. Somebody decides to study medicine, psychology, physics, mathematics, chemistry, geology, whatever. So whatever you study in school, you're supposed to apply it when you come out of school. But in Ghana, here is the case that whatever you studied in school, about 80% of us, we are not able to apply what we studied. Let me give you an example. For myself, I studied geology in school. The hope was that when you complete school, you're going to be employed by maybe an exploration company or a mining company. So maybe Anglo Gold may decide to employ you, Goldfields, Newmont, all these mining companies, any of them might employ you. But the truth of the matter is that after a certain age, those mining companies will refuse to employ you. Because the secret is that when you complete the university at the age of 22, 23, 24, they know that when they spend any amount of money to train you, you will be able to work for them for a certain number of years. And so they are going to get the full benefit of training you. And the training might come in different forms, softwares and all those things. But when these companies, because of the number of students that are coming out, cannot employ these students we are churning out of our universities, what do you expect me, somebody who studied geology, to do? I remember one of my professors, when you go to his page and you look at what he does, his interest areas, you will see mining. He's a mineralogist, so he's interested in mining. And mining comes in different forms. In Ghana, the legal regime of mining give room for small-scale mining and then large-scale mining. So when these large-scale mining companies cannot employ all the geologists that are coming out of our universities, and mind you, Kenya University is doing, University of Mines is doing, Legon is doing all these courses, and then for now, UDS is also bringing out geologists. So when all of us cannot be employed by these large-scale mining companies, but you have studied the geology and you are supposed to apply it on the field, how can somebody who studied geology be working in a bank? It is impractical. So you don't even need to think of it. Now, in Ghana, these large-scale mining companies are choked because they are not employing. And every businessman will want to employ these national service people so that they pay them less, some allowances, rather than employing somebody who is far more experienced. Your only option now is to look elsewhere to the small-scale mining sector. But this small-scale mining sector is unregulated. Nobody is regulating it. I have told people, nobody has a license to do alluvial mining. Why am I saying this? Because when you take our river bodies and you move about 80% of our river bodies, when you move 100 meters away from the river, you will not get alluvial. There will be no gravels for you to mine. So in Ghana, because the EPA permit states that when you are going to mine, you live about 100 meters away from a river before you can mine. So even if you have been given a concession to do alluvial mining, you have to live 100 meters away from the river before you can start mining. So anybody who is doing alluvial mining in Ghana doesn't have any legal backing or license to mine. But let's look at the other forms of mining, the small scale mining. Hard rock. People sink shafts, they dig pits, go deep down into the earth. They have no problem with any river body. But when we are discussing this issue of mining, we lump everything together. Typically, when you go to these mining communities, everybody in any of these communities eats or take their livelihood from the mining activities that is going on within the area. So somebody is in the house, she cooks. He's a food vendor, sells on the roadside so that the people that goes to the site to mine buys the food from her, and then she's also in business. But when we lump everything together and we decide to tell people that let's close these mines, then we are not being fair to ourselves. Let me give you an example. For instance, when you take one mine pit, when you go to a small scale mining site, and you take one mine pit, you can have about 20 to 30 people working in a pit that has a length of about, let's say, 10 meters. About 30 people will be working there. So when you have about 50 of those pits on a site and you multiply that by 30, just calculate about 1,500 people might be working directly on the site. They bring their ore to various processing mills, and all these mills have people who are working there. So when we say we want to curb unemployment in Ghana, the number one solution is mining. But we need to regulate it so that accidents and all those things we will do away with them. But if we don't do that, and we sit in Accra, we sit on our radios and decide to put every form of mining together and lump all of them as illegal, there's a problem. The president of the Republic gave a directive that they should go into the mining sites, those that are destroying our water bodies and our forest reserves. He never talked about those who are doing hard rock mines in the various mining areas. But what are we seeing? So I want us to look at something very critically. The number of people mining employees in this country. You can't imagine it. Let's say that all those who are calling for state of emergency and all those things, it works out. And we close mining in Ghana for a month. What will happen in this country? Nobody can contain it. We can give it a try. I don't even want to go to what came recently, Gold Board. I want us to focus on the mining. When somebody has a pit that goes deep about 70 meters into hard rocks, goes deep down the earth and brings all body out, how does that impact our rivers? It has no bearing on our river bodies. It doesn't destroy any, because those lands can easily be reclaimed. So please, let us look at this issue very critically. If we don't do it and we decide that because everybody is talking about mining, we will also put our mouths into it. When I suffer, you also suffer. Because in this, when Ghana prospers, everybody will enjoy. Thank you very much.